Hola, soy Harry Levy para Miami News 24 y el día de hoy vamos a explorar el maravilloso mundo de los tabacos hechos a mano. Nos encontramos en las oficinas de Didier Cigars. Qué maravilla estar acá. Thank you so much for having us.
Gracias, thank you. Good morning, sir.
I can see that you have like a very beautiful set of cigars over here. I can see that you're open like a new box, but tell us everything about the cigars hechos a mano. What's the special thing of the cigars?
Mano, as you know, it's the translation of handmade in Spanish. So yes, we do, let's say, carry and blend very exclusive tobacco from Esteli, Nicaragua, which is today the capital of the tobacco industry, let's say, in the world. Okay, most of the big players of the tobacco industry are located in this part, of Esteli, Nicaragua, and of course, blend, specific product. Our specificity is because we are, let's say, a boutique factory compared to the big guys. And I go myself, to every individual farmers selecting the tobacco we are blending. So when people ask me, what about your product and why your product is so exclusive, it's because we have very, very selective in terms of productions, in terms of selections, and in terms of blend. Our market is mostly, for a European market where I come from. I'm from France originally. That's why you say my name Didier. It's very French, muy francés. That's, by the way, that's how they call me over there. They say, oh, Didier el francés, el gringo francés. So I'm el gringo francés. So and this is what it's about. Doing very. It's I always compare the tobacco business to the wine, because people say, it's about, in the wine industry, it's about the grapes, it's about, the vintage, it's about all these elements who makes, the product exclusive. And I say in the tobacco, it's very similar. Okay, why? Because you have specific farmers who are specialized in specific category of tobacco. And you have blenders like me and people, technicians in the industry, who know how to put together, those flavors and what makes the product very exclusive. And I say exclusive because since we are working with very small individual independent farmers who I buy my tobacco from, and like I say, it's like the wine, when you make a small blend on a very specific Bordeaux or very specific Malbec, even in south of France, when you work on a special rosé, you can find, like extremely exclusive product coming from a very small winery. And in the tobacco, it's the same. We work very, precisely on the blend. I always say to my private customer, I know almost what is on every single box, because we have a very strict, quality control and the way we set up and, put together our blend.
I personally don't smoke, Didier, but I can tell about the experience of open the box, like smelling the tobacco, like knowing the process and know the product that you have in your hand.
Yes. When you look at the box, for example, you see a lot of imperfection, related to the wood or Madeira and the painting. Why? Because everything is handmade. We are using even wood, that people when they buy the box, they can keep the box as a humidor, and everything is done manually. And it's what makes our product very exclusive. I was showing you like this kind of product, it's called the Isaac collection. This is a Connecticut blend, caliber 60. I was mentioning also that this is the cigars for the golfers, because it's a late morning cigar. Okay. It's like very creamy. It's like very, woody. And when you go in Palm Beach, Miami, or or the golf course at Trump in Mar-a-Lago, you light this kind of cigar, everything is matching, So this is,
So it's like very peculiar the way that you associate the cigars with the moments, with the places.
Exactly, because I say that a cigar, when you work on that kind of quality of product, it should match with the time, and it should match also with circumstances.
Like a maridaje.
Exactly. You know, when you have a nice meal, you say comer carne, like something heavy, and you have a good glass of red wine, you're gonna go with this kind of tobacco, which is like it's called the Mica collection. Okay, this is top quality. It's a Sumatra blend. Sumatra. Okay, and look, you see, the construction is absolutely exceptional, and this is kind of a full body, blend. Okay. So when people ask me advice, I don't recommend this kind of stuff, for lunchtime or for the morning cigar, because of course it's a very complex blend, and I call this more like an evening cigar, after a good meal. So depend on the time, depend on the circumstances, depend on how you feel, depend on your mood. There is many aspects, and that's why I say it's like wine. You might not want to drink, a rosé at night. You might go with a full body, and you might want to, drink a strong Amarone Italian wine, at 11 a.m. because it's a 14% degree wine, And cigar is the same.
For example, for me, Didier, I'm feeling very cigarish today. So, like for starters, for beginners, what do you recommend?
I have to disclose your secret. 9 years ago, I was in Italy visiting friends and family. And I have a lady who told me, Didier, aspetta, listen, I love the cigar. It's beautiful, but I don't like the bad breath associated to it. I say, what do you mean about bad breath? He said, yeah, when I smoke, and after that, I smell the tobacco, So, the aftertaste, and it's not chic, especially. Since then, this lady put a challenge on me. And I said to myself, how I can put a blend together where you don't have a bad breath smell. And here we are. I create the Giulia collection. Nice. Giulia, which is Italian name, by the way. Okay, and it's where I have the inspiration.
It's the name that the lady that told you that.
Exactly. And I create this kind of packaging, little bit like a candy box, like a little perfume. So the Giulia is a special blend that I was inspired from Italian lady back in the days, and I call it the no bad breath cigars. So even guys smoke that, right? They smoke the Giulia. You see, it's like a little candy, boop, right? And then it's a Connecticut blend, Connecticut. But I cannot disclose on the microphone right now the method. But when you smoke this cigar, there is no bad breath. There is a process, there is a method, there is a logistic in terms of set up the production. But definitely, I guarantee you, you're gonna smoke this cigar for lunch, and you're gonna run to your wife and you're gonna give her a big French kiss, like the one who go all the way here, right? And I guarantee you, she will tell you, Harry, this cigar, wow, I don't smell nothing, mi amor. Amazing. So look at it. Yes, and it's called Giulia.
Giulia. One other thing, Didier, which is the basic rules of cigar etiquette? How do you take it? How do you cut it? Or do you can smoke one cigar more than one time?
Yes, I mean, heavy smokers, especially my colleagues or the people in my factory, they smoke 8 to 9 cigars a day. I tell you, I don't go that high. The people I learned from, they are super heavy smokers. They are on their late 90s, sin dentes,
Yes,
no teeth.
No, but for example, can you put down a cigar and then light it back?
Yes, at one condition.
Okay.
If your cigar doesn't dry where you are. Because there is 2 enemies in the tobacco. Number one, the light, la luz. Because light participate to dry the tobacco.
That's why you have to put it like on a heavy box.
I mean, that's my suggestion. And of course, too, like I say, is room temperature. Sometimes people buy a very expensive box of cigar, friends all over the world, from France, from Los Angeles, from Tel Aviv, from everywhere. And they say to me, oh yeah, ¿qué paso? I buy beautiful, box in the airport. And I open, I say, Papa, you take with you on the plane, open, where it's very dry, and the air get inside, and it's the worst enemy.
When the cigars get affected by that.
Exactly. So the secret is always to be careful and to keep your product to a reasonable room temperature. Never leave a cigar in a car, especially in Miami. I mean, it's like you leave a bottle of red, on the seat passenger. You go do your stuff and you come back and you say, "Oh, what happened to my wine?" Man, you're ruined, And this is very similar. You have to respect the temperature. You have to, listen. Once again, what is this? It's a leaf. It's a natural product.
Organic, very organic.
Exactly.
And handmade.
Exactly. So to some point, there is no logic. It's not something mechanic. It's something natural. So it has the same rule applied to any things who come natural. If you take an apple, if you take any fruits and you put on the sun and you do, it will melt. This is very similar, and people sometimes they forget that. They forget, and they don't understand the process of keeping fresh. So now, I'm gonna give a little secret that I learned to your audience. What is the best humidor for cigars? People will tell me, "Oh yes, that brand. Oh yes, that brand." Of course, I'm not going to disclose here on the mic what brand. And I say no. The best cigar humidor is donde you put the veggies in the fridge. You buy a cigar box.
Okay.
You are not an aficionado. You are a beginner, and you want to, let's say, not taking risk on how to maintain your cigars. Oh yeah.
Put it on the fridge.
Oh yeah.
With the veggies.
The fridge with the veggies. Why? Because this will, the cigar will, let's say, adapt himself, and the level of humidity inside kind of keep the moist, doesn't over humidify, but also make your cigar going on a good balance. You follow me?
Yes.
And let's say when you smoke this kind of quality of product, and of course you want to live the full experience, I recommend that. You put your cigar box, the Didier cigar box, in the veggie compartment. You take one of the box, you leave it 5-6 minutes, the time the cigar adapt to the room temperature, and you light it. Amazing. And then you have a beautiful experience. So of course it's more chic to have a beautiful humidor on your coffee table, or on your dining table at home. It's more chic, but the real secret, it's very challenging even for people like me who are expert to maintain your humidor in the right temperature, especially when you travel, especially when you are, you go to different destinations, especially that your AC in Miami go up and down, So it's challenging. Pero in the fridge, it goes well. The risk that you messed up are very minimalist, and that's the best when you are a beginner. That's what I recommend.
So thank you, Didier, for that tip. But going back to the cigars, to the Didier cigars, you have like plenty of collection. I was watching them on the webpage, yes. And there is a cigar for everybody.
Yes. Okay, I have to tell you something.
Another secret.
Yes. Before being a cigar guy, I was and I am a fashion guy. Okay. For now 29 years, I found in 1992 with my brother Harry a production company called Season. And that's why when people ask me, "Oh, why your name is Didier Season?" Because Season is the name of the company I found almost 30 years ago. And it's a company who at the very beginning was specialized in marketing in the model industry. So that's how I started to work. I used to work for elite model worldwide. That's why we still have some picture, on the back of my office, of Naomi Campbell and and Cindy Crawford. And I used to work with, let's say, 95% of the modeling industry worldwide, doing the marketing for them. Elite, Ford, Next, City, all the big name, and my brother Harry was the king worldwide marketing in the business. He was the big mind behind to set up all those concepts. And when we start to grow the company, and it was in France, in Francia, we say, listen, okay, now, thank God, we are to the next level, we work internationally, and we have to see how we can expand the business in the US. And back in the days, in the 90s, Miami was the capital of the photo and film industry, was, unfortunately. So it was logic for us to establish our expansion in the US in Miami. So my brother, which is my young brother, but he's only 1 year different, so it's almost like twins. He came here on his own, 1996, and he opened the satellite company of our company called Season in Miami. And over the time, because we have very strong network in the beauty and modeling industry, exactly, we start to work in the production. Means we start to execute fashion photo shoot for big names, French companies, I can disclose few, of course. I can disclose Chanel, which was Karl Lagerfeld, amazing. I can disclose, of course, Hermes. I can disclose Lacoste that I worked many years for, and many others. And we also have been working a lot in the music industry with Universal, with Sony, doing all the music video. Why? Because we were and we are well known as fashion guys, always treating stuff, in the fashion and the beauty world. So when you tell me about this, the tobacco business, it was an accident. It was a big accident because I'm a Miami based for now 20 years plus. And I used to go, let's say, more than 20 years ago, like a tourist, like a local tourist in Calle Ocho, and enjoying coffee, and enjoying café con leche, and enjoying, puros. And, over the years, and I'm talking about 20 years ago, I developed friendship with local people, with local factory owners. And they say to me, oye, francés, ¿te gusta mucho el tobacco? Oye, ¿te gusta? Bien, mira, viene acá. And I start to learn from them, And at that time, don't get me wrong, it was no red bus tourist. It was no tourist place. It was only local people, only Cuban family, only, 100% Latino. I was a stain among the crowd, But they love me and they adopt me because they understand my passion. And I learn from those guys. And they teach me and they teach me and and I learn. And to the point that I remember the very first time, a very nice guy told me, oh, but you like tobacco. If you want, you can buy little, not a bundle bag, like your own stuff and bags and try. I teach you how to put this together, So I developed a passion for that. I did, And then when I start, to enjoy, when I was going on photo shoot, when I was going on film set, because I was putting together some blends, I was bringing little regalos to my client, little bundle of cigars, and I bring to them. I say, hey, Mr. Levy, por favor, a present. But I never disclosed it was my work. I never disclosed it was me behind, putting this passion. I was very humble and shy about it, especially when you work for big names in the fashion industry. You don't want to go on the set and say, hey, this is my cigar. No, you have to be low key. You understand? You have to be very humble. So, but Harry, I got amazing compliment. I get compliment from those people telling me, oh, Didier, c'est bon, mean in French, it's good, Or, oh, wow, where you get that? Can I have some? And I always say, sure. And I never want to disclose it was, my work, And when I start to have more and more people, calling me friendly or asking me some cigars, where you get it? I say, you know what? I should turn maybe this to a new magic project, And I commit a lot to it. And I start to travel everywhere where people grow tobacco in order to understand and in order to be absorbed by the industry.
Try to learn.
Yes. And let's say, 8 maybe more years ago, I went to the tobacco license office in Doral. I push the door, and I say, "Buenos dias. I would like to apply for a tobacco license." Okay, have a seat, you know. Okay, have a seat. And they ask me questions. But I'm sorry, you know, because, you know, when you apply for a tobacco license, they do background check, and, you know, they ask you who you are, and, you know, like. And it was a very kind lady telling me, "Pero you are French." I say, yeah. French gringo, but French, yeah, you know, because Didier. And you work in fashion, right? Because you work in the beauty industry. I say, yeah, I work with models all my life. So did you get lost? You know? I say, no, please, ayúdame, help me. I really want, you know, be able to go and start to trade and buy, you know. And I put a lot of work to it. And I put a lot of energy. And, you know, when you go on your own the very first time to those parts of the world, you know, Honduras, you know, Dominican Republic, and you go to Nicaragua on your own, 10 years ago, trying to put together something, visiting farmers, introducing yourself. It was challenging. The very first year was very hard. To find the right partners, to find people I can go in business with, to be able maybe to say, okay, how I'm go and, you know, buy a factory, you know, and try to make the first move, you know, to say, okay, I need my own stuff, you know. And it was a lot of work, a lot of dedication. You know, when people see from outside, they only see the fun part.
Of course.
They see me, with, you know, they see the French guy working in the modeling business. He's cool, you know, he traveled,
This is a cool product.
It's a good product, it's very good, gracias. You know, I go to Los Angeles, I go to Paris, it's cool. But they have no idea what I went through. I mean, the commitment, the dedication, and to be accepted by local community to sell me tobacco, to work with me, for me to hire them, for me to, you know, put together a full setup production, which is now. Why? Because when you do this kind of tobacco, what happens? You go to local farmers for specific blend and for specific quality of tobacco. But like I say at the very beginning of our conversation, this is like wine, Harry. So it's not like you buy the tobacco and you go back to your factory and you say, "Hey, Juan, oye, buenos días, vamos." No, it stays, it sits for years, for seasons on the warehouse. It sits like wine, until it maturates, until it's good enough, until my head of staff, of factory tell me, "Don Didier, okay, this one is good now." And I buy tobacco 6-7 years ago, you know, with the hope that it's of course going to be, you know, good enough for specific blend that I'm working on. But it's a work of paciencia. It's commitment that it's not like, oh, you do it like a chef, you know, you go, you cook, and you can eat right away. No. He has to sit on the warehouse for a couple years, for a couple seasons.
To grow and to get mature.
Get mature, and then you start the construction, and then you start the blending, and then you start, you know, the process of production. And I say, why it's like fashion? Because you have all the aspects of fashion. You have
The beautiful box, the beautiful
yes, and la capa is like it's like a clothes. It's what makes the whole, you know, it's what englobes exactly. And the secret in the fashion is the stitching and the method of fabrics and the trend. This is the same. What I put inside, my secret process,
It's a beautiful analogy.
my secret blend, exactly. So, and of course, once again, people, the good compliment I got from cigar expert, because I go myself on the field sometimes, you know. I go, I take my car, or I take the plane, and I go to specific cigar lounge, and I say, "Bonjour, my name is Didier. You don't know me, or maybe you hear about me from your private customer. This is what I do." And I challenge myself to meet with super expert on Madison Avenue, to to very, I cannot disclose, but very famous lounge in New York or in Los Angeles, in Beverly Hills, to very, very famous lounge where you have top celebrities, okay? And I want those guys to go and light my cigar. Why? Because I want to have a feedback, to know exactly if you are on the right path, And like I say, tobacco, cigars, it's subjective, right? It's like in wine.
Like fashion.
It's like wine. You might like Malbec. Our camera crew might like Sauvignon. I might like Bordeaux. It doesn't mean what we are drinking is no good. It's a question of taste. You follow me, Harry?
Totally.
This is the same. Maybe your palate is good for this specific blend, and my palate is good for this is specific Habano Maduro, okay? That I'm doing very well, by the way, in London with that. And our camera crew say, oh no, you know what, we like lighter, or we like, and we go, Connecticut. So this is the same. Like I say, I put together blends with all my passion, with all my love, with all my commitment, and I focus on the quality. I focus on the quality only, and it's obsessional to me. Why? Because you might not like it, but it doesn't mean it's no good, because it's question of taste. You follow me, senor? Exactly. So when you are
you put all your effort to make the perfect cigar.
When you are a Habano Maduro expert and you light mine, I'm sorry, I'm super confident. And sorry, but I have a very difficult audience of smokers. I have private French customer who smoke Cohiba 56, 4 years. And when I meet with them in Paris, first of all, I better be super humble because they shoot strong. And to them, they say, oh, it's not Cuban, so it's no good. So for a guy, now it's different, but I mean, back in the days when I start, right? And people say, hey, and I say, listen, you try, you light, and after you shoot me, you tell me. Don't start to shoot before you light. And this is exactly what we were saying a few minutes ago. If you make something with quality and you focus on every aspect of your product, you make it happen. Of course, this is applicable to everything, like we say in fashion. But in the tobacco and cigar industry, if you really pay attention and you very focus on the construction, and you focus on your blend, and you focus on the way the cigar burn, because there is a lot of technical aspect to it, You can do a beautiful cigar with amazing blend, but if you light it, it doesn't burn straight, or it doesn't go smooth. So there is many aspects to make a good cigars.
It's a whole art.
And when people light my cigar, and this is also what I focus with my technical team, I say I don't even cut. I just make a little pinch. I make a little pinch of, and why? Because there is a perfect flowing. There is excellent balance on the tobacco and on the way the cigar is processed. So when you light it, you have the same experience at the very beginning and at the end, and it burns straight. Yes, you were asking me at the beginning of the conversation, how do you recognize a good cigars? When the cigar burns straight and the ash stay, it shows some quality to some point. I don't talk about the taste, but the quality of the constructions. You follow me?
It's totally art, yes. Didier.
Yes.
I'm going to go back in Spanish. Estamos contentísimos de habernos adentrado en el maravilloso arte exquisito de los cigarros. Didier, I'm very grateful with you for introducing us in the whole art. I will begin with something light, but first I want you to say hi to everybody in the audience of Miami News and invite them to join the experience of the cigar.
Yes, gracias Miami News 24. Gracias at Mendoza Capriles Grupo Media in Venezuela. And thank you for coming and give me the exposure. Muchas gracias.
Contentísimos de estar acá. Los invitamos a probar estos cigarros y a seguir en sintonía de Miami News.